Hello.
Hello.
So,
Deeply organized chat.
deeply organized chat. So, the lecture is done.
Yes.
The workshop
yes,
we're
yes.
taking, the lecture is more or less finished. We just have like feedback round and in the afternoon. That's it.
So good.
I'm leaving tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, you're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm staying for the Sensing Salon. The next meeting is about healing practices with focus in astrology this time.
Ah, yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
So we did the second workshop,
Yeah.
the best practices workshop, yesterday.
Great. Yeah. I actually start framing it, and the way I put it was also on YouTube as it was a workshop performance actually, because
Sure.
people are like participating, so it's a performance.
Yeah.
And I think if the workshop, the better the work, or let's say the more flow the workshop has, the less focus we need to have, or less reference people need to have from us. Like yesterday, as you said, we have to be more conscious of like sometimes guiding indirectly, while in Hamburg people, perhaps because of the space and I don't know why, people were more like autonomous, understanding fast the proposition.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the differences, there's a lot of differences, but there, the context was more or less clear. I mean, it's not clear, but they expect something with digital dance.
That's true.
And here it was like with the participants of other workshop of this chaos theory. So, I mean, it's not that they're not connected, but it's, they don't know what to expect.
Right.
And we didn't say much about it, so.
Yeah, and hardly, I mean, quite often, there was so many different interesting feedback that we got. But one thing that was certainly, like, it was a recurrent thing, and that's my appreciation from the point of view of PAF and the people who come here somehow often are related with performing arts, is people will speak about care, basically. So it's people who have practices, they have experience with frameworks, care frameworks. So when something like what we propose is not, people were speaking in different ways. That's my interpretation about care. Like about please somebody care about me. I don't understand what is supposed to happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's different levels of care. Level or in terms of like layers. Because just to just make it simple and just maybe reiterate, but the way you can care in terms of like running a workshop could be giving clear instructions, which we didn't do. But it doesn't mean that we didn't care, because we did in a different layer, in a way. Like we started with code of conduct, for example. That is, obviously one of the ways to do it, but then we didn't give clear instructions. We just said, you have 1 hour, just respect each other, and just use objects, or because people bring something, and we also brought some stuff. Also, computers are there, so just do something with it.
Yeah.
But to me, obviously that's also a way of caring, but it depends on depends on the person who receives it, right? Or it depends on the need of the person.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I think it's important what you said, because if what we're trying to propose is, that's my take, no, this is my word, but if what we're trying to propose is like to agent people within space to exercise the space in a non-binary way, or like, that's when I will start going in that direction of decolonizing knowledge, then the person will start also is a subjective. It's a matter of subjectivity. How much the person need to know, basically. How much the people can regulate. It's about how the people can regulate themselves, basically.
I don't know if I get it. Sorry, I was a bit distracted. But from the discussion yesterday, I'm quite interested, like what we can add, or like how we can experiment with the format. Like in terms of like what we say at the beginning when we start a workshop, because it's quite minimal at the moment.
But it's that crucial. That's the entry point.
Yeah. And we just did twice, and well, this time like we added. Please don't damage anything. But also, you said like we shared vulnerability, which I think we said in the first one. Maybe I said, or you said, like what? In Hamburg, I think it was important that I think it was, in my head it was really important, but this time it was somehow like slipped off, and then you said it, so it was really good. Because Frida was saying that it's...
The resonate.
Yeah.
To her. Like, yeah, I was thinking also that something that we miss, and that's part, like, I think, if I think in conflict, or like what didn't work somehow, and then relate to what didn't work, among others, in the dance in Brussels while you were away, so just the chat, was this an acknowledgement of the body. This we forgot to do yesterday, so right. this is, I think this is fundamental, and we forgot completely how to make people aware, because everybody just come, and we are in this very open way of taking, so I think that's fundamental, that if the people come, so the people just come like Jorge, and even do a very open. If I don't have some entry point where somebody's kind of acknowledged, like introduce my body within the other bodies and the space, which is basically, that was the proposition of Hamburg, all come together, and then basically take a minute to feel your body within the space and within the other bodies. Then, if that's not there, then you're skipping one part, and actually what you're requesting for the people is to be sensible. But you're not giving sensibility to them. You just give them a black hole, a black space, like a very broad space. So if one of the conflicts is that we don't know exactly how much knowledge, how much instructions, how much language do you need to in order to start, like, because that could become a political problem. Like, what do we want, So that's a different topic. But before going even there, it's just basics. Like, if what we want is people to exercise that we're proposing, basically to be sensible and caring with the space and others in a non-anthropocentric way, then we need to give them some body entrance also.
Yeah.
And that was missing.
Yeah.
So something that we all like to add is that, so this is that I think, so I understand that we have this really relaxed way of how we do the things, but I think when we are involving other people, we should pressure ourselves a bit more in terms of we have to care a bit more of not leave things for last minute. Like yesterday we were a little bit running too much. That's my take, and maybe I can say that personally towards you. I thought, like, where are you? I think if it's with other people, then I think we have to care a bit of what is going to happen. It's just basic things, the internet isn't working, is it working? Because I know we make it work, and that's fine, but nevertheless, because there's people coming, which I think we could still take into account an hour, I think half an hour is too short.
Yeah. Yeah, but also yesterday, in the end, I think people participated, came roughly on time.
Those who wanted to participate.
So, no, we're just recording, but it's fine. Yeah, but that's something I think we need to make sure like maybe we have to be really explicit about, you know, like if you want to join, come on time, for example.
I think so.
Like this is like kind of before code of conduct, or part of code of conduct actually, that we have to share before we start, like, you know, bring an object, that's one thing, but also like, you know, be punctuate and...
Yeah, maybe we could, because for instance, people can come and they can watch and just go, for instance, but then if you want to participate of the workshop, then be on time.
Yeah, they can leave and come back, but they have to be at, like, I think it's good to, like, also the frame of, you know, having 1 hour of this, that we have start and end. And I think that will really give us, like room for, you know, being relaxed and prepared when we start.
Oh.
And of course, you know, we can take into account, you know, 10 minutes or 15 minutes before we start. That's okay, but, you know, to me it was not good that they said, you know, people can in and out. Because
from the beginning,
from the beginning, they have to be there at the beginning. Well, end, yes and no. I mean, they don't have to be, but at the beginning, at least, they have to be there. And then we make sure that, you know, if someone's missing, you know, they can't join.
No, especially because we need, I mean, all this aspect that we're trying to propose from the beginning. So what we are proposing is not an anarchistic space, right? We don't want to go into anarchy and people just extremely go into anarchy and just breaking things, or like just go really to explosion where you cross lines with others in space. So I think the beginning of that space that is very blurry and is not really clear for them we can be better in this ritualistic approach. It must be a ritual. Like, for instance, something that is a gesture that is a part of the ritual, simplicity, is 1 hour. That gives them some time frame where they know this is not going to last forever. So they just go for it. So I think we could think more consciously of what are those elements that we need, maybe not fix them, but just kind of like bullet points, like, okay, these are, for instance, before we start writing the code of conduct, I think we should, but that will come more with practice, but I guess we should, this should be more clear for us, like what are the things that we really need to share with them.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I think we just have to practice it. Practice the workshop.
Yeah, that's key. This is key.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, like last night we were talking about, you know, for example, there's a metal ball, quite heavy one, and you have a laptop on the floor, and like things, you know, things can break if we don't.
Even though we said one of the parts of the code of conduct.
Yeah, well, I said just, you know, don't damage anything, but more precisely, like things have to be back to the original state.
But you know what I was thinking actually, that if I would do the same thing today, I will literally just take the board that is at the hanger with the 4 path rules, put it there, and then just refer to them, because if they have they have been in path for some days. So although they don't understand that space, if they go with that space with some, but thinking in those rules, I think maybe they won't cross some lines that already were crossed.
Yeah, but that works here.
But I think they could work in this space. I was thinking that yesterday, that I think it's very similar. I think that workshop is very similar how I experienced at least path.
No, I'm saying that is correct, but it only works here. Because we don't know it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think like, maybe I would like to experiment like somehow like to take from these rules also, and maybe to change the wording or something, but I think because there are not so many. And and if somehow people can understand a little bit, it's all about that, like make it possible for others, mind asymmetries.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what I'm just thinking is probably it's interesting to research a little bit of like what kind of code of conduct people have. Like PAF, for example, they have. I mean, I don't know how they call it. It's code of conduct or
no, there are rules.
Yeah, and well, I was doing a bit of research at one point. What kind of code of conduct is like. You can find it online and different. I mean. For events, like they use quite similar ones, but they just adapt for their needs, for the event or for the meetup or whatever. And in that sense, it's not directly like applicable to what we do, because it's more about kind of, like if someone's doing wrong, you can report to someone from the team. Like this is a bit like but it's not exactly what we need.
Yeah.
But I think. More general sense, I think we can learn from what people are phrasing like those words, because PAF, I think they do it well, but it's also very specific and it works for certain like community, let's say. I mean, not that saying that it's not good or like it's good or bad, but it's kind of adapted to the space, I feel.
Yeah, it's for the space. Yeah. It's not for the people, but it's for the space.
Yeah, and people have to learn if they don't know about what is asymmetry, for example. It's not obvious. Like we use it often, but it's not obvious at all, and you can interpret it in different ways.
Yeah, and maybe in that direction could be also that something that is proven PAF is like that there's things that accidents happen all the time, constantly. Every day there are misunderstandings because there is not so much clarity and there is some narrative on the abstraction and on the rules and stuff. So that's part of how that framework is, how PAF is. But I think yes, that will be I think it's a bit it's tailor made to PAF building.
Yeah.
The space.
But it's also, we can adapt to for ourselves. I mean, for what we need, and we can. I mean, we already create our, language, and we just have to fine tune it. That we use our language in a way, but also you can deliver it. It's understandable for others.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking because I think in the first workshop I was a bit afraid of using concepts that we have developed, but I think yesterday they came out more naturally, and so I think we should not be afraid to just basically name things as we name. For instance, like we have to speak about grouping and grouping, all these concepts that we have developed, we just name it, and maybe something comes next to it right away, because otherwise it's just. I mean, that's why we are doing the chat basically.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of chat, I think it's important maybe we separate from our chat, because, or at least I think it's interesting to start with asking so what happened? There was this moment, this dance workshop moment, what happened? And then ask, because I feel I have to say you speak a lot, but also I speak a lot about our experience. So it's not that who's doing more or less, but because if we start saying, okay, by the way, this was our intention was this and that, then it's becomes question and answers.
No, but I'm not speaking about talking about it, but just let's say if naturally you end up in the spot when you need to say something. Because that's what I was doing in Hamburg. It's like when I'm trying to just talk, then these concepts come in my head, and I'm trying to not use the concepts because I thought people won't understand, and then I start doing more rounds and not go to the point that I'm trying to make. Then yesterday, at some point I felt the same, but then I felt no, okay, I just use the concept and then give some short thing next to it, and I think that makes short the message. That's how I felt it.
So you did it more concisely.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I'm not avoiding the concept. In Hamburg, I was avoiding to say like grouping and grouping. I mean, to mention these things that we have, these concepts that we develop.
Yeah, but I feel like the way I thought, I mean, is that maybe we just don't say anything and just start with what people say. And if there's like ideas like, you know, just grouping and grouping or self-dissociation, that's something, or like, you know, touching those topics, then we can start talking about it. But then if we have them round and start talking about, okay, this experience for me is like this. I mean, it's one way of doing it. It's not. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but maybe it's better. Well, it can be more interesting to give agency to the other participants first to talk about it, and then we can develop on it because we have knowledge, quote unquote.
It's asymmetrical in terms of knowledge.
Yeah.
If that space of the chat is like a epistemological place in terms of knowledge, then it's true. Then it's asymmetrical because then if you start speaking, then you speak. I mean, then from the beginning already the people will understand. Like these guys know, I don't know.
Yeah, but also like I mean, in other way of looking at it is like, to me, the workshop is like something every time it's fresh because it's a different constellation.
Yeah.
And to me, I want to like, in a way, like unlearn what we are doing, and just think about like the first time, I don't know, like July 8th or something, 2020, that we did the practice. And then since then, of course, it took a long time to develop these ideas.
Yeah.
And with other people, like if you assume that we have, you know, 50 times, 100 times doing something with them, then something different will appear. Yeah. So I want to kind of, you know, like yield, I don't know, this, from this new constellation. So it's like something new.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
But of course, it's not new for us, and it's, you know, that's kind of.
But as part of this, I thought actually it was so funny that at some point Gabriel mentioned it, and also I think the way how you uploaded in YouTube was, you said it says, I think it's like, I know, from the Hamburg, you said like so best practices the day Jorge Guevara, Naoto Hieda, and labor participants.
And labor.
Oh, wow. But you see, like, because for me it actually makes sense, because I'm making the analogy with what Gabriel was saying, and in terms of like, when we finished, and then when he finished, he was saying, he was joking with me, and he was saying, he was saying something like, no, finish, no, like, you pay me. He was saying something like that in Spanish, like, pay me for my work. And that's the way I interpret that. But so, and I like it better. Because it's true that since it's a workshop performance, then you have to give credits to them.
Yeah, that's actually, I was feeling wrong about how I was doing, because everyone has to be credited.
Yeah, of course. So, but then that's the way how I would put it. Like as a labor, and I think it's funny because they're working, and I think it's like, should be like that. I'm opening in that conversation, and I'm building on that also, that how, like, that's how strategies, how I think one way how you bypass politics, this we have been speaking about this before. One way how you bypass politics is like asking somebody else to basically define your work, and then you don't have to create a grand thing. Just you do something from, like rather than localize something that you have produced before finishing aesthetically or conceptually. Just you put it out, and then you use people actually experience to bypass politics. Then after just you finish with the aesthetics and you finish your project. And I think it's that's something that if it's open, I mean, if people understand that that's what is going to happen, I think it's totally fine. Like, I will be fine as a public, like as an audience, to be taking part of some workshop or of that. If there is a workshop proposed where I understand that this that I'm taking is a workshop performance, then it's up to me that then to take it or not, basically. And in technology, like, I don't want to be long in this because it seems to me that you don't understand what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that because I see it in technology often, then because you use a lot of like technical things and there are so many different things. So I think one of the ways why I have seen people work that I think is effective, and I don't see nothing wrong with that, and I think a capitalism approach is you create something that is interesting. You're not sure which position to take on that because it might be. So you have something that is complicated as a technical framework, and then you put it out for people to do something with it, and then after that, then just you maybe use the data basically to finish the project, and then you don't have to think on the politics on that. I mean, the politics as in the realm that we speak of politics, which is politics / intention. What is your intention as an artist?
Okay.
But I don't know if I lost you.
Yeah, I mean, the last technological part, yeah, I couldn't really follow. And I mean, just saying like something really like big picture, I kind of understand, but also don't, is the thing that we're using this labor, which is highly political.
Yeah.
But I know what you're trying to say. I mean, I don't fully get it, but you kind of make it into a framework, basically, so that you don't think about it, but it's involved in the politics.
Yeah. I mean, and of course, like, you can simplify things with not mentioning that, or like just mention differently. I think participants of the workshop or something like that. Yeah. You know, like you could be more straightforward. Like when you say labor participants or labor performers, then it's basically a poetical approach to something. So which makes things more complicated. But I thought it was. I mean, the way I read it, I thought it was like that.
Yeah.
It was labo. It was labo.
Like labo.
Yeah. No, I put it in mine when I uploaded as labor.
Yeah, I saw it. And
performance.
Yeah, whatever.
They were performers.
Yeah. But I think this is something. I mean, maybe we have to talk about it like again and again, and also in the chat. Probably we will come back. I mean, chat with the participants if we do the workshop, and then we'll see. I guess.
Yeah.
It's something, and also it's not something we will find something fixed, but it's always changing. Can be their labors, or we can list every one of them. You know, but also then it makes me think is like what's interesting is like then why don't we credit other people like Olivia is making Hydra and this Live Lab, which also Olivia.
I mean, the problem with doing this properly, let's say, because this is about more like being correct, I guess. The problem of doing this properly is that if we start doing this right now, then we will slow down processes, right. Because then you need to okay, I cannot upload it now because it's not yet. I don't have all the emails. So you know how it goes.
Yeah.
So and I think that's not the. So even though we're trying to be then correct, I think we should not change and adjust, like change the dynamics. I will speak more in the dynamics of how it goes.
Yeah.
Like, I think many artists, like for instance, like a good example is her friend Flor, that for instance she works and she do these things, but she cannot put it like really fast, like online. So for instance, like her performance in Hangar was really good, like things that took from the distance. But I check and she yet is not posting something. So I think these dynamics that we have in the practice and how fast goes online is something that I wouldn't like to slow down because of being correct or.
Yeah, I mean this whole thing. I don't touch it, but I totally agree that we just have to do it, and then if we
find a way. We need to find a way how to address these people anyway.
Yeah, and if there's a problem, then we have to negotiate. But
yeah,
we just have to do it. I mean, I don't have 1 million subscribers, so
exactly.
yet.
Yeah. Okay, maybe we should close here because the lunch is ready.
Yeah.
So please subscribe. And thanks. And I guess I will see you now too.
And comment if you want to have our workshop. Please comment where you are, and we'll see.
Then we travel.
Travel.
So, and I guess now too, next time I will see you, I will be in Colombia, I guess. Wow, because I don't see
in person.
you in person. Next time I will see you, will be in Colombia, man.
Yeah, crazy.
Nice.
Yes.
Ciao, ciao.
Thanks for watching.